Who are we starting with?
Ooh, you.
I love it. It was an opportunity to get close to people that otherwise I wouldn't get close to. I was comfortable in my own household, close to my babies, in case they ever wanted to cry. I'd be able to go to them, but also still be able to come back to you guys. And so this was great for me. I loved it. It was perfect.
I think one of the things that really got me excited about this group was when Elle sent me the book and I got to kind of read the synopsis of it and talking about how to incorporate community into our parenting and the impact of the community. And I think being in the COVID season is this kind of weird in between space where we don't have the opportunity yet to implement a lot of what we're talking about with especially with a lot of things being face to face, or the hope is to be face to face. But it's kind of like the world is on pause and we get to kind of take these new ideas and kind of ruminate on them and think about them. And it's kind of it's an interesting time to read a book about the community's impact on children. And so I think the topic was just super interesting to me.
Even just the format of things, I think really worked well. I mean, we did Zoom because that's kind of the nature of things these days. But when I think about the logistics behind having to have a group like this in person, it would be so much more difficult as well.
In this season where kids in bed by 7 and one of us at least is locked in the house unless, yeah, like you say, we get a babysitter, it feels like, oh well, then we can't do anything anymore. But now these opportunities feel very possible, and feel authentic still and real despite not being in person.
We've realized that this is a safe place, and we've all decided to be vulnerable to each other and to share things that are difficult. And I think that's solidified this group a little bit more too. And we've made it a place where we can be real, and that's been really really valuable to me too. Hmm.
One of my favorite things about the book was actually kind of weirdly just in this last chapter that we read was the idea of discipling your own kids. I found that to be a really neat way to reframe the idea of parenting. That you're in charge of the discipleship of your children and sending them out into the world for for the mission of Jesus is really a really great way to picture your job as a parent.
Totally scary.
Yeah, it's scary, but beneficial, I found.
It's not about letting them go so much as I want people to experience Brooke. She's a phenomenal kid, and I think Gideon and Elliot and Rachel and all of our kids, they're phenomenal people, and we want to see them interact in this world and make it a better place, right? So that trumps that fear for me, at least. And I don't know about you, but
Yeah, and like one of the earlier chapters when it talked about like putting the community around your kid and like setting up spaces to allow your kid to have relationships with other kids, or sorry, with other adults, and like the value that your child can find in relationships with people who are not like them, who maybe aren't like their mom and dad, who are in a different lifestyle. And how unique and valuable that can be, so that when a time of need arises, those relationships are already set up. And what an incredible community that is to pull from beyond what we are able to provide.
Yeah, that is the ultimate, right? Like when you think of yourself as a teenager and you think like, okay, no, they have somebody to go to that they trust. How reassuring is that?
That's huge.
And I think because of COVID, we're missing this sense of the community village helping to raise our children. And I think because of the pandemic too, like we've also been given this opportunity to have this kind of like weird virtual experience of each other, which has sort of helped to lay the foundation for the possibility of that village too, right?
What was taken for granted for so long is no longer able to be taken for granted, including community. So when you have the option of community, it can almost feel like a burden. But as it has been taken away from us, we realize the value of it, and not just of like the concept, but of, like Mel was saying before, authentic, real relationships, things that are worth our time. And so that's what this has been, I think for me, has been like just worth my time. And because it's authentic and real and relevant, it's just been such a gift.
You're happy?
Pardon?
You're happy with it?
With the group?
Yeah.
Yeah, were you thinking that it was bad?
No, I just want to know.
Can we stop recording now? I want
Oh, we are recording. Sorry.
No.
Oh, that's
We
great.
can snip. Mark can snip.
No, that's very good.